Okay, so this is a pre-recorded session for CRI 222. So I will be discussing the whole of the coverage for the second exam. So part sa inyong second exam is crime scene investigation components, yung crime scene processing, up until crime scene reconstruction. So please check your syllabus, yan ang susundin natin. And there is already an ebook that was shared already by me sa inyong LMS. So mao ang kinahanglan ninyong i-download kay mao man pud na inyong gibayad. Simple as that. So please read it carefully. All questions on this meeting would be in the forum, yung Q&A forum natin. And also please try to understand. If you have any questions, put it in the forum. Okay? So let's start off with crime scene processing. So I'm about to share a presentation with regards to crime scene processing. Basically, yung golden rule and yung golden R with regards to crime scene processing. So, sa crime scene processing, it is actually mainly the duty of the scene of the crime operation or yung SOCO, which is under the Crime Laboratory Group of the PNP. So, under sila sa mga national support units, which their main job is to help in the investigation of crimes and also by the use of laboratory analysis and scientific procedures used on those laboratory or scientific processes and analysis. Yan. Isa din sa mga trabaho ng crime laboratory is yung pagre-record ng chassis number ng mga motor at sasakyan in order for it to be notified and noted regularly with LTO standards. Yan. LTO memorandums. So, ayun yun. So, sa investigating team, hindi yan sila papasok agad or hindi sila mauuna sa crime scene. So, ang mauna sa crime scene, of course, the first responder. So, I'll take you back to the protocols of investigation with specifying the duties and responsibilities ng first, yung investigating team. So, according sa Protocol 3 ng Criminal Investigation Manual 2011 edition ng PNP, all investigators in any police unit must be, of course, qualified. Dapat member sila ng PNP and must have at least the rank of PO2 noon or ngayon police corporal. And of course, must be a graduate of the required criminal investigation courses. For police non-commissioned officers, yan ay ang CIC, Criminal Investigation Course. For commissioned officers, those na may rango at least police lieutenant, sa kanila is IOBC or Investigation Officers Basic Course. So, as you can see, yan ang composition ng investigation team. So, that is basically yung SOCO team. At yung SOCO team is standard na yan na 6 to 7 people. 6 to 7 personnel, hindi kasama dyan si investigator. Kasi si investigator, organic member siya na assigned sa police station, hindi sa SOCO. So of course, you have the team leader, the assistant team leader, master note taker, photographer, and yung artist sketcher. At yung isa pa dyan is, of course, yung driver He will also be doubled as the evidence custodian at madadagdagan pa ng measurer. Nandyan yan. So that's 6 to 7 people depending on the availability ng manpower sa isang jurisdiction. Ang crime laboratory group, meron silang district laboratory groups or laboratory offices for Metro Manila. Sa regions, may regional laboratory office and then provincial laboratory offices. Yan. Okay? So, those are the composition or that is the composition ng SOCO team member plus the measurer. Yan. And the equipment of the investigating or SOCO team comprise of the following. Yan. Pero yung number 12 natin, i-highlight natin, that is for the investigator only. Yan. Si investigador may tickler. Iba din yung tickler ng SOCO team. But for the investigator, they must have this tickler which contains the following. Yung checklist. So certain crimes require certain and unique checklist. So nakasaad na yan sa tickler. Yan. Parang guide na yan nila. Together with the anatomical diagram form ng human body, especially for crimes which are involving either the death or injury ng person. Yan. So next is evidence checklist. Anong dapat maunang i-collect? Ano dapat yung mako-collect at some types of crime scenes. And next is turnover receipt. Yan. So ang turnover receipt, kinakailangan yan once mato-turn over ang crime scene, first from first responder, siya yung mauna, papunta kay investigator. And then si investigator, ito turn over niya with of course the receipt, papunta kay SOCO team. And then si SOCO team, ito turn over nila with their own receipt, papunta sa rightful owner nung nasabing crime scene or yung lugar. So in turning over, there must be witnesses, at least two, which are, of course, capable and of good standing, and of course, with the sound mind. Yan. So, the witnesses need not be of legal age talaga, pero para mas maging maayos, most of the turnover sa crime scene requires those of legal age and of course with a elected or unelected government official. Kasagaran ana, mga barangay officials na. Si kagawad o si captain, kinsa ang available. So, first responder, meron siyang mga duties and responsibilities na nakasaad sa Criminal Investigation Manual and of course, sa basic yan. Kasagaran ana, mga lower ranking police personnel. Mga patrolmans, corporals, staff sergeants, yan. So, first is, tinawag silang first responder kasi sila ang unang re-responde sa mga tawag ng tungkulin. Of course, they need to respond in order to validate the information received through calls or personal calls for help. Yan. Pwede through 911, pwede through online, or pwede in person. So, upon arrival ng first responder, he would be recording the exact time and, of course, the environment the moment he went or arrived in the crime scene or the place of the incident. And, of course, sa kanyang pocket notebook o yung tickler niya, ilalagay niya lahat ng pertinent data. Date and time, situation, meron ba mga biktima, may mga tao bang marami, was the scene still safe or meron pang imminent threat, and all of those must be notified sa Tactical Operations Center ng bawat police station. Again, that's the Tactical Operations Center. Next is cordon of the area. Pero meron pang mangyayari niyan. What if pagdating ni first responder, yung biktima nag-aagaw buhay? or injured at buhay pa rin. So before cordoning the area, he must first identify if the crime scene or the scene is still safe or are there any imminent threats? Meron pa bang uncertainty or delikado pa ba ang scene? Base hindi ay naadala sa palibot ang suspect or yung suspects. Like, okay? Sunod, sabihin natin walang imminent threat. Tactically speaking, safe ang lugar. So, he must make sure that the victim is still capable of collecting himself or kung may mga injury siya na masyadong severe, he must be taken care upon and must be brought to the nearest medical facility. Yan. So, paano gagawin niya ni first responder? I-check niya ang pulse kung buhay pa. And of course, kung buhay pa, he will check if that person can still be able to stand himself or kaya pa niyang ma-handle ang kanyang sarili at maidala pa sa nearest hospital. Sabihin natin madala pa siya sa nearest hospital. So, gagamitin yung police mobile or any available vehicle na magsisilbing emergency evacuating vehicle. Yan. So, what if the person is, of course, buhay pa, pero alam na niyang mamamatay na siya anytime. So, ayan. Diyan na mangyayari yung pagkukuha ng first responder ng dying declaration, which I will be discussing next. Okay, sabihin natin safe ang area. The victim might be already dead upon arrival ng first responder or biktima na idala na ng taong bayan sa medical facility. But most ideal situation, sabihin natin patay na yung biktima pagdating ng first responder. So, ang gagawin niya, in order to protect the integrity ng crime scene, cordon the area. How would you cordon the area? Technically, meron yan silang mga police lines. What if walang police lines? Pwede tie box, straws, human barricade, or there are other techniques nila. For example, yung paggamit mismo ng police car o yung police mobile. Magsisilbing partial na harang sa kanilang crime scene. Again, the purpose of cordoning the crime scene is to preserve the integrity. Na para pagdating ng investigator at ng SOCO team, walang contamination, walang tatsa. It is the same as the scene when it was discovered. Yan yun. Next, check whether the situation still poses an imminent danger or threat and call back up if needed. What if the suspect is still on the scene and may possibility pa rin siya maghasik ng kasamahan or kasamaan? So, backup is very important. That's why may mga two-way radios for real-time communication between police units and police vehicles. Yan. So, check nyo muna kung may imminent danger or delikado pa. And, of course, if it is not easy to disperse it or hindi siya madaling masettle, then you need to call for backup as soon as possible. Next, the first responder must identify possible witnesses and conduct preliminary interview. So, ang tawag dyan sa interview na gagawin ni first responder, it is part of the field inquiry. Field inquiry. So, they must ensure na yung mga tao na yun have seen personally of what has transpired or kung anong nangyari. Kasi kung hindi nila nakita yun personally, narinig lang nila or sinabi nila na, ay, sir, nadunggan naman ako kay Tampulano, then di yun matatanggap sa korte or during trial. And also the use or the purpose of a field inquiry ng first responder is to ensure na yung mga na-interview na witnesses would have been available by the time na dumating na yung investigator on case. Mauna ng gador or investigador. Yan eh. Okay? Next is, what if the suspects still pose an imminent threat or nakita ng mga tao na nasa peripheral or nasa palibot lang ng scene. So, you can arrest the suspects. It's still legal. Yan, legal pa yan. Or when the suspect was seen fleeing or tumatakas. Yan. Sir, what if, sir, hindi na mahabol nung first responder initially? So, they will be conducting what we call dragnet operations. Again, dragnet operations. That is, in order for the suspect to be cornered or all his possible exits would be blocked. So, ang gagawin yan, for example, dumating si first responder. Of course, nandyan na yung crime sa tabi niya. Pero nakita ng taong bayan at nakita rin niya na mayroong tumatakas on the other side. So, hinabol niya. Problema, si suspect pumatol. Binalikan ng baril si first responder or si policeman. So, of course, hinabol na niya. Pero dahil sobra na silang layo sa crime scene, of course, medyo malayo na rin siya sa mobile si first responder, tatawag siya ng backup. Nasasabihin, oh, si suspect papunta sa kanto between street A and street B. So, dapat meron ang nakablock dito na police personnel. Para si suspect, oops, hindi makarating. Sunod, oops, hindi makarating. Yan. Mako-corner siya at mahuhuli. The technical term for it is taking into custody. That is the purpose of dragnet operations. Okay? Next, prepare to take the dying declaration. That is done if the victim who was found on the crime scene is still alive, and first, he must be severely injured and he knows that yung kanyang death or alam na niya na mamamatay na siya anytime. So that it means also it is imminent yung death niya. And of course, he must be conscious or alam niya na mamamatay siya. Again, dapat alam niya na mamamatay siya. Kasi kung hindi niya masasabi na mamamatay na siya anytime, then according sa batas, sa rules of court na or rules of evidence, the dying declaration would not be called dying declaration kung hindi siya conscious at hindi niya masigurado na mamamatay siya anytime. Okay? Next, the declaration refers to the cause and surrounding circumstances of such death. So, dapat yung masasabi niya would be revolving around who might have inflicted him the injury, which would be the cause of his death. Sino bang nakabaril sa kanya, nakasaksak, or sino bang nakasagasa sa kanya, or any other crime related to such death. Yan. So, that is very strictly taken note or tinitake note talaga ng mga police. Next is the declaration relates to the facts which the victim is competent to testify. So, what if nabuhay siya? Alam na niyang mamamatay siya pero naidala siya agad ng mga tao or ng pulis sa hospital. So, let's say nabuhay siya. Those things na sinabi niya before siya maidala sa hospital, those must be theoretically be able to have credibility in order for him, once makarecover siya, be able to competently testify in court. Yan. So, of course, it is part of Section 37 ng Rules of Courts. Rule 130, Section 37. Dying Declaration. Okay? Next. So also, what if the scene involves too many people, too many victims? So, before i-cordon yung scene, kung meron pang mga victims na kinakailangan ng medical attention, sila ang unang i-evacuate. Letter H. So, nearest hospital using emergency services. Yan ang silbi o isa sa mga silbi ng sirens at blinkers ng patrol cars. Next. So, let's say walang nabuhay unfortunately, pero yung mga katawan nasa crime scene. So, of course, you need to cordon the area, protect it the same at the same image or the same scenario as when it was discovered. And during that period, you can start to account for the killed or if meron bang wounded or meron bang na-arrest. You would conduct an inventory or accounting. Yan. And of course, letter J, conduct initial investigation that is done by the investigator on case upon arrival and during scene processing or crime scene processing. Yan. So, gagawin na yan nila with the help of the first responder. And let's say dumating na yung investigator on case after some time. So, si first responder, ibibriefing niya si investigator on case kung ano ang nangyari at kung meron na ba siyang na interview ng mga witnesses. After that sort of dialogue, after ni first responder mag-brief kay IOC, he would turn over the crime scene to the IOC or investigator on case. Also, isa din sa mga trabaho nila ng first responder, tulungan ang investigator on case na mag-conduct ng inventory sa mga ebidensyang nakalap sa crime scene. And also, yung inventory receipt dapat mapipirmahan ni first responder, ni investigator on case, and SOCO team bago ito turn over balik sa may-ari ng area. Or if it is on a public facility, government facility, ito turn over sa administrator or sino mang delegated niya or inutusan niya. Okay? So, duties ng investigating team or yung SOCO team, take full control of the scene. Yan. So, once ma-turn over na sa kanila ng investigator on case, they have the authority to collect and of course, record everything na ginagawa nila. That is crime scene processing. Of course, they would first conduct a walkthrough. Mag-walkthrough muna si first responder at investigator on case. And then, once na-take over na ni investigator on case ang crime scene, hintay niya ang SOCO team. By the time magbe-briefing na si IOC sa SOCO team, they would then conduct another walkthrough before ito turn over ni IOC kay SOCO team leader. And then, si SOCO team leader, bago mag-formalize ng search, mag-walkthrough din sila kasama ng mga SOCO team members. And then, after that, doon na mismo yung crime scene search proper. Kung saan sa crime scene search, kasama itong mga nakikita ninyo. Taking of photographs. Yan. While taking of photographs before and after collecting the pieces of evidence, magsa-sketch mo na anong posisyon ng patay na katawan at ng mga ebidensyang nasa paligid. What if there are fingerprints? So, lifting of fingerprints in order to be processed on the laboratory. Yan. And of course, they would mark it also before nila kukunin yung ebidensya. Okay? So, very important ang photography sa crime scene. During the arrival, before conducting the crime scene search, and during the crime scene search, before collecting the pieces of evidence. That is very important kasi meron sinusunod na chain of custody. From the first personnel na nag-collect ng crime scene, ng evidence sa crime scene, hanggang sa pag-transport and pag-conduct ng laboratory examination sa crime laboratory. Ayan. So of course, after nila mag-conduct ng crime scene processing sa crime scene, idadala nila sa crime laboratory, transmittal. And of course, the job of the investigator is to continue interviewing possible witnesses and gathering those information. Before aalis si SOCO team, together with the investigator, they would evaluate the pieces of evidence collected. And then they would photograph it again and they would ask themselves, meron pa ba silang nalimutan or na-overlook? Next, the investigator on case would need to create reports papunta sa higher office and of course to ensure na merong mangyayaring follow-up investigation. So unang ibibigay na report is what we call yung spot report. That must be done within 24 hours from the conduct of the investigation or crime scene investigation. Sunod yan, ang next na document would be the follow-up investigation report. Yan, follow-up investigation report. In order to notify headquarters kung ano na bang nangyayari sa investigasyon. Okay? So there will be other documents, reports that would be again filed to notify headquarters on the status of the investigation. So during the crime scene processing, there must be a command post that would be established in the immediate vicinity of the crime scene or sa radius ng crime scene. So also, aside sa pag-hold ng mga location for the on-scene command post, there must also be a VIP corner o yung tinatawag na holding area. VIPs, siguro mga higher ranking officials, media, and other important personalities. Sabihin natin mga kapamilya ng biktima. Okay? So, dapat may holding area para sa kanila. Of course, conduct case conference with the first responders o team and other law enforcers and rescue personnel involved. Sir, what if, sir, during the crime scene processing, meron pa palang tinatawag na secondary crime scene or an additional crime scene related to the crime initially. So, yun, kailangan din yun maprotektahan. And of course, after the conduct of the crime scene processing, the place or the crime scene must be released properly with a turnover receipt. Okay? Next, in the investigation of suspects, sabihin natin na aresto na siya. During the arrest, the person who is arrested must be secured or restrained. Na-restrain siya. So, commonly, it is with the use of the handcuffs. So, in order to limit his opportunities and his capability to move his hands, hina-handcuff siya or pinupusasan sa likod. Yan. So, before securing or handcuffing the person, part ng securing the suspect o yung person arrested is to conduct what we call frisking. Frisking or body search. Yan. Frisking or body search. Kinakapkapan muna bago pusasan. Maybe meron siyang weapon sa kanyang mga pockets, especially at the back. Sunod, during arrest, sabihin natin pinupusasan na ng isang police officer, the other person or the same police officer must inform the arrested person of the reason why he is arrested and to give him his Miranda rights or yung Miranda warning. Yan. So, very important yan. Tinitingnan niya ng fiscal by the time na magpa-file ng kaso ang law enforcer or si investigator. Yan. So, it is provided in the Constitution. You can take a look at it sa Republic Act 7438, Rights of a Person under Custodial Investigation. Yan. Okay? Next is when making an arrest, there must be a reasonable force done at hindi dapat sumosobra. Na nisukol sa imuha nya gibaril nimo, yan. That's not reasonable force. Ang sinasabi ng Criminal Investigation Manual during arrest procedures, ang dapat gawin ng law enforcers is maximum tolerance. Yan. Maximum tolerance. And of course, all confiscated items belonging to the suspect shall be documented and properly marked because that might be used for or against him during trial. And of course, pagkatapos ma-arresto, dapat na yan maidala sa stasyon ng kapulisan immediately. Okay? Next. So, yan. Parts Protocol 6 is yung procedures na ginagawa sa isang arestado by the time na naidala na siya sa police precinct. Yan yung tinatawag na booking procedures ng isang arrested individual. So, upon arrival, he must be documented properly. That involves fingerprinting ng kanyang mga fingers. He must be photographed. Yan yung tinatawag na mugshots. He must be subjected to medical examination. And yung medical examination must be done on a licensed and recognized, pati registered na hospital ng DOH. Ayan. So, for short, government hospitals ang best examples. Yan. So, next, drug test, liquor tests. That's very important during medical examination. Iniisa na lang yan na ginagawa. One time na lang, isang bagsakan. Para di na sigigbalik ang arrested individual. On, so, next, sabihin natin natapos na siya ng medical sa hospital. There must be a thorough record or background check sa nasabing arrested suspect. Maybe he was previously arrested or convicted or notorious ang kanilang grupo at ngayon pa lang sila nakikilala. Okay? Next is, during the custodial investigation, there must be a waiver as stipulated sa Article 125 ng Revised Penal Code na kung ayaw niya gamitin ang mga karapatan niya na naayon sa batas, he can execute a waiver, yung si suspect, and must be done in the presence of his counsel and done in writing. So, dapat mapirmahan yan nila dalawa ng counsel niya, dapat present si counsel, and of course, dapat na mailagay doon na niwe-waive niya or hindi niya gagamitin yung karapatan niya or karapatan niya according sa batas during custodial investigation or even before taking testimonial evidence or taking those sworn statements. So, sworn statements or affidavits must be taken immediately by the investigator. And of course, those affidavit of arrest ng mga arresting officers, yung sarili nilang affidavit, must be taken immediately at hindi lalagpas ng 24 hours. Yan. And of course, during inquest or during the inquest with the inquest prosecutor, the investigator on case and arresting officers shall observe yung mga nakastipulate sa Article 125. Yan yung custodial investigation rights o yung waiver ng arrested suspect. So, as you can see, those are the reports. So, spot report within 24 hours sa higher headquarters. Next, my progress report o yung follow-up report in order to notify headquarters of the progress ng investigation. So, let's say, na-locate na yung offender, gagawin nyo na yung tinatawag na pag-aresto, you'll be conducting an after-operation report pagkatapos ng operation. So, sabihin natin, positive, tama yung naaresto. Meron na kayong mga ebidensya, mga resulta ng laboratory examinations, lahat ng mga witnesses nakuna na ng sworn statements, lahat na ng mga law enforcers involved nakuna na din ng affidavit, then the final report would be created after the case is filed sa fiscal or sa prosecutor's office or during the or before the start of the trial proceedings. Then sabihin natin convicted ang naarestong suspect, si accused, and positively siya yung may sala or sila yung may sala. So after the conviction ng judge sa accused, then the law enforcers must still pass what we call the accomplishment report kung saan it would be what we call case solved, hindi case closed. Ang case closed would happen if napasa na sa prosecutor, na itanggap na ni prosecutor yung pinasa na criminal charge or yung na-file na na report. Then by the time na magsisimula na yung proceedings sa korte, that's already what we call case closed. Yan. So those are the procedures in the release of the crime scene. Before mag-release ng crime scene, dapat may inventaryo na nangyari. And of course, it must be accomplished with a final survey and proper documentation ng lahat ng ebidensyang na-collect and yung mga statements ni witnesses, ng victims, and suspects if meron. So if the crime scene is inside a private property, it must be released to the lawful owner and witnessed by barangay officials or an official present. So if it is on a government property, it must be released to the administrator or any of his lawfully delegated subordinate yan or assistant. So let's proceed to what is termed the golden hour. So So the golden hour is used by investigators as the first 3 days or first 72 hours, which comprises of the initial phase of an important criminal investigation. Commonly murder, kidnapping, homicide, or yun, trafficking in persons. Those crimes which have a violence within them. So crucial yung first 72 hours. Kasi during those initial hours, pwede pang magawa ng decisive and mas madali or the suspect is still not able to completely hide or hindi pa niya na-hide yung kanyang mga ebidensya or yung mga ginamit niya. So upon arrival at the crime scene, the investigator on case makes a general assessment of the scene, and then he will define or siya ang mubuot kung unsa ba jud ang total area or kadak-on sa search area na ilang buhaton. And of course, he would conduct what we call a mental reconstruction of what really transpired sa crime scene. So there are different types of crime scene. Yan. Indoor crime scenes sa loob ng mga structures or buildings or ng bahay. Outdoor, of course, sabotable and conveyance. Or those places na madalas um, dinadaanan ng tao at ng mga sasakyan. Or those also, mga crimes na nasa loob ng mga sasakyan. So, also, there are types of physical evidence. So again, sa crime scene, physical evidence yung kinukuha natin. There are three types of physical evidence. First is trace evidence. Those pieces of evidence which can track or locate those people involved or the suspect involved. Biological evidence or those which came from nature and from those involved individuals. Like for example, body fluids or yung blood. Yan. Comparative evidence or those pieces of evidence which can be compared sa laboratory or by visual. And also, meron yung tinatawag na associative evidence or associative evidence which would link the suspect to the crime scene. For example, fingerprints. It can be also part ng biological evidence pero fingerprints is also part ng associative evidence. Yan. So, of course, what if there are certain pieces of evidence na masyadong delicate or masyadong sensitive? So, merong mga swabs ang SOCO which they could collect it and those samples is-store nila sa mga tinatawag na containers or vials. Yan. Okay, so if you have any questions, pwede nyo ilagay sa forum. You can ask any questions with regards to the presentation or this recording. So I will be presenting another presentation on what is a crime scene. So what really is a crime scene? Yan. So crime scene is a place from which crime has occurred and much of the physical evidence is obtainable with three dimensions yan ha, 3D. Yan. So it also provides the investigating officers or the investigating team to determine the identities of the suspect and of course the victim and to create a connection together with other circumstances of ano ba talagang nangyari to uncover the truth. Okay? So napakaraming types and kinds of crime scene, the types of evidence na pwedeng makolekta. Pero why does the crime scene need to be preserved? Again, why does the crime scene need to be preserved? So, of course, there are certain pieces of evidence which can be collected and of course collected sila to the point na sobrang delicate, sobrang careful ng ginagawa ng pag-collect kasi masyadong maliit or masyadong limited lang. So those delicate objects such as fibers, mga hair strands, shoe prints, and of course body fluids, yung pagkolekta sa kanila needs careful observation, careful documentation, and careful collection. The same goes with collecting firearms. Yan, firearms or weapons. Kasi nga baka merong fingerprints pang natira or if the firearms are still loaded. Yan. So basically, crime scene processing involves the avoidance of contamination and damage or loss of evidence. So lahat ng ebidensyang makakalap doon sa crime scene are physical evidence. Those pieces of evidence which are appreciated and addressed by the five senses. Yan. So all of those might have the connection to what truly transpired during the commission of a crime. So yung sinabi ko last time, yung principle ni Edmund Locard, yung exchange principle, kung saan lahat ng taong involved sa isang krimen would leave a trace. And those traces are so minute na during the collection or crime scene processing, kailangan ng careful observation sa kanila. Kasi sa crime scene, of course, nandun si suspect, nandun yung victim, nandun yung mga kagamitan. All of those would leave a trace on the crime scene or in the crime scene. Most, if not all of those, are physical evidence. Yan. For example, yan, bullets, mga basiw sa bala, ang mismong pusil, hairs and other fibers, mga strands, fingerprints, of course, shoe prints, especially sa mga soft na surfaces. Yan. So how do we preserve the crime scene? Crime scenes can be preserved by means of cordoning the area or setting what we call a perimeter, just as what you are seeing. So kanina, sinabi ko or na-discuss ko kanina yung on-scene command post, yung kung saan yung holding area. So we would have that kind of radius sa crime scene. So ano ba yung radius? Yan, it's like that. For example, yung crime scene yung yellow portion. Sabihin natin yan, extendable yan. So, pwede yan ma-expand, pwede yan mapalitan. Yung inner perimeter, most probably, those pieces of evidence are collected within the inner perimeter. And ang pwede lang sa inner perimeter ay yung mga personnel ng SOCO at yung investigator or investigators. Next, yung outer perimeter, ito pong nakapink, still there are some clues that might be collected there, mga ebidensya. Ang pwede makapasok dyan are those na VIPs, for example, mga senior police officials, or somehow some media men. At yung mga nasa exclusion zone, dyan na yung mga husisero. And of course, somehow, dyan na din nakapark yung mga sasakyan ng investigators at ng kapulisan. So, how do we define the limits of the crime scene? We use what we call police lines or crime scene lines or crime scene tape. Yan. So, hindi yan sila tape na normal, pero they are commonly yellow with black letterings. Yan. Police line do not cross or crime scene do not cross. Yan. Yan yung pinaka-standard at pinaka-common. Pero what if walang ganun? Hindi na-obtain. So, pwede yung mga ropes na, mga PC, tie box, placement of vehicles going barrier, or the use of markers and flags for those crime scenes na sobrang lawak. Like for example, mountainsides or yung mga hills. Yan. And other physical barriers na andun sa scene at gawa na lang ng diskarte ng mga members ng investigating team. Please take note of the golden rule of the crime scene. Ulitin ko, the golden rule is to not touch or to not move any object at the crime scene. Ulitin ko, the golden rule of the crime scene is to not touch or to not move any object at the crime scene unless it is already photographed, measured, indicated in the sketch, or for short, documented. So, hindi mo pwedeng galawin yung mga ebidensya, yung patay na katawan sa crime scene. Hindi mo pwedeng apakan, hindi mo pwedeng i-rearrange unless it was documented properly. Yan. Kasi ang goal ng crime scene investigation is to replicate kung ano man talaga ang itsura ng crime scene the moment it was discovered. Yan. So, hindi nyo yan pwede galawin unless it was properly documented already. Why? Bakit yan ang golden rule? Kasi merong mga kasabihan na lost evidences or lost evidence equals to lost opportunities. And those opportunities can help solve the crime, help to know the reality or the truth behind what transpired. Okay? So, kung may mga questions kayo, ulitin ko, golden rule is do not touch or move any object at the crime scene unless photographed, measured, and indicated sa sketch or documented. Yan. Okay, next. So, we'll proceed with, tapos na tayo sa crime scene and its dimensions, sa golden rule, sa golden hour, responsibility sa first responder at ng SOCO team, components nila, and sa release of the crime scene. Tapos na rin tayo. So, we'll proceed with the types of crime scenes. hopefully to better understand or mas better nyo ma-understand ang itsura or possible na itsura ng crime scene. So again, any questions na gusto nyo maibahagi, butang ra na ninyo sa forum. Kana Q&A forum natin. The whole week or the whole 2 weeks before the exam, i-open ko yan. Okay, so before I continue, there are certain topics here na kailangan nyo talaga i-base sa syllabus. So, ang inyong SIM was unfortunately yung gumawa niyan is not advised ng siguro hindi niya nakita yung syllabus. So, just take note of the sequence sa syllabus. Yung SIM is additional na yan na sources natin. Okay, so hintayin nyo muna. I would be uploading a presentation on the types of crime scenes. Ayaw ninyo i-exit ng video. Okay, so your exam will be on September 18. That will be a Friday. So again, yung mga permits ninyo, ilagay nyo lang sa second examination permits na section. Dun sa exams or official receipts na section sa LMS. And then once you have uploaded a permit, please check it para ma-complete nyo yon. And also, katong mga walay permit jud na tungod Scholar or appeal sa SSS Orchard, it's okay because we can still monitor it sa mga pinapasa ng SAO. So, standby muna kayo. Kino-convert ko pa yung criminal investigation manual. So, also, yung mga hindi nakakaintindi ng mga terms, you can use your dictionaries. They're very useful. And yung ebook na pinasa ko, diyan tayo bumabase sa first two exams. So, the types of crime scene according to its commission is first yung daytime at nighttime na crime scene. So of course daytime mao na hayag na ay sufficient light while nighttime basically limited yung ilaw and of course it would be another challenge sa investigating team. Please take note na ang natural source of light especially during nighttime crime scenes is yung ilaw na nanggagaling sa moon that served as a natural light once the moon is clearly visible from the sky. Next, the type of crime scene according to location. First, indoor crime scenes. Yan. For example, ganyan. Sa loob ng structure. Yan. So, indoor crime scenes affords the crime scene protection from weather and allows investigators to take their time kasi hindi sila maapektuhan ng weather. Yan, or any other concerns and they could use their established methods of searching the scene. The search of a crime scene will be discussed sunod. Okay? Next type is outdoor crime scenes such as these. Yan. So the challenge with outdoor crime scenes aside from the terrain is weather conditions na maaring makaapekto sa pag-collect and pag-preserve sa scene. Yan. Next, continuing or mixed crime scenes na kung saan ang main characteristics is either from indoor to outdoor or vice versa, galing sa labas, it was dragged upon hanggang sa loob ng isang indoor structure. Okay? And of course, meron tayong mga special location crime scenes na kung saan very unique na nagiging lugar ng krimen or pangyayari ng krimen. Such as sewers, yan, sa septic tank, sa ilalim ng lababo, yan, or those special locations na hindi common na crime scene. Like for example, sa loob ng balde or sa loob ng drum. Yan, or even inside a large freezer. Yan. Some other examples, yan, vehicles, burnt vehicles, ships, airplanes, yan, septic tanks, mga drum, and others. The reason why it is special because it is very difficult to handle because hindi naman siya yung common na crime scene. And of course, it needs special support in order to extract the body or extract pieces of evidence, and it would complicate or mas mapapahirapan pa yung proseso sa crime scene processing. Next, crime scenes according to the source of evidence. First, primary crime scene. So it usually begins where the body is originally found. Yan. So primary scene is yung body, the secondary crime scene are those pieces of evidence na might be the blood. Siguro binira yung body ng victim from the primary scene and then may secondary scene. Yan. Next is secondary crime scene or where the victim was confined or where the assault initially took place. At siguro, sabihin natin, for example, binugbog yung biktima sa secondary crime scene and then siguro gusto ng suspect maiba ang lugar or i-divert ang investigation. So, binugbog niya, pinatay niya sa secondary crime scene and then binira niya or he dragged the body of the victim to the primary crime scene kung saan doon na natagpuan ng unang nakakita. Yan. So, secondary crime scene, any place where evidence is also co-located. Again, crime scene processing refers to the application of diligent and careful methods by an investigator or the investigating team to recognize, identify, preserve, and collect facts and items, specifically physical evidence, which have what we call evidentiary value. Again, lahat ng mga kinokolekta sa crime scene during crime scene processing would have what we call evidentiary value or meron siyang value by the time it would be presented in court. Yan. So, lahat ng mga leads, lahat ng mga ebidensyang nakalap can assist sa pag-reconstruct or pag-uulit ng mga nangyari sa crime scene. Yan. So, the purpose is to collect as much information and as much evidence from the scene and also to preserve it in pristine condition as possible. Kaya may golden rule during crime scene investigation. So sa crime scene processing, it involves and follows a definite procedure such as assessing the whole scene bago mag-search. Observing during the search kung meron pa bang peculiar or naiibang mga ebidensyang makakalap ng investigating team. Of course, documenting it before collection, during collection, and after collection bago i-transport pabalik sa crime laboratory. The method of searching, very important yan. Anong style yan ng search? And of course, the collection and analyzing of pieces ng ebidensya. How would you collect a gun? Yan. How would you collect a body fluid like blood? How would you collect fluids na nasa clothing ng victim? Ayan. So you can see there the definitions and purposes. Bakit ina-assess, ino-observe at dino-document. Next, yan, searching. The actual search begins after the documentation. So yan, importante ang documentation muna bago isa-search yung buong scene. Yan, maybe they could collect further pieces of evidence which can be documented further. Yan. Okay, so if you have any clarifications, yan nyo na lang sa forum. Crime scene investigation safety. So, very important na dapat during crime scene investigation, hindi mako-contaminate yung scene. Yan, walang makakaapak, walang makakapasok na hindi authorized. At yung pagkolekta, naayon sa standards. At yung mga containers na kung saan nilalagyan yung mga ebidensya are cleaned and not contaminated din. Also, there are certain contaminations and exposures to be considered kasi baka yung crime scene may mga delikadong chemicals, delikadong fluids, delikadong equipment na makaka-injure or would put the investigators at risk, like sharp objects, needles, and other physical hazards. One of those hazards yun, baka yung hangin or the air around the crime scene is dangerous for the body. Yan. Siguro mausok. Siguro yung immediate environment, yung atmosphere niya, puno ng toxic and of course lethal gas. Ayan. Because it would naturally contaminate the blood and of course the internal organs natin, specifically the lungs, the livers, the kidneys, and the central nervous system. Skin contact. So yan, isa din yan sa mga delikado. What if the crime scene involves those hazardous materials? Yan. For example, chemicals na maaaring makasunog sa balat. Ayan. So, of course, during crime scene processing, yung mga investigators at yung SOCO team, they would have their surgical gloves in order to prevent contamination, prevent skin contact, and of course, with the use of their protective clothing, not just in their hands, but also sa body, pati sa eyes, to prevent them from acquiring certain illnesses na maipapasa. Also, sa crime scene, there would be some needles, of course, commonly broken glass. So, para hindi ma-infect or hindi magkaroon ng sugat, they must have proper footwear, proper body protection, yan, protective equipment, and of course, goggles sa mata. So, there are standard safety requirements when conducting an investigation. Yan. So, of course, what if the victim has bloodborne diseases, hepatitis B, C, HIV, yan. What if yung mga pathogens na nasa blood nila mako-contaminate or maipapasa sa investigating team or sa SOCO team. Yan. So, it is very much a common thing, a standard na dapat during crime scene processing, the SOCO team and the investigator must wear protective clothing. The same goes with other chemicals. Yan, flammable chemicals and other chemicals na dangerous sa katawan. Okay? So, of course, one of the precautions niyan is before doing a crime scene search, they must decontaminate themselves, and after the conduct of the crime scene search, they will decontaminate themselves. Maghugas yan ng kamay and dispose yung tinatawag na PPE. Ano sa ng PPE? Personal Protective Equipment. Yan. And other equipment na ginamit nila. Goggles are very important, especially for those crime scenes na might have an effect to the eyes physically or chemically. Yan. Or even the wavelengths, especially yung mga lasers. Okay? So, kinakailangan yung mga goggles na may laser protection din. So, are there any questions? I'll just be sharing these pieces of presentations para sa inyo, and also take note of your assignments. Standby muna kayo, i-present ko lang yung types of crime scene search. Okay, so andyan na yung methods of crime scene search. Please take note of these. Very important to. First is yung strip method or strip search method. In this method, the area is blocked out in a form of a rectangle. So sabihin natin yung crime scene is having a rectangular limit. And of course, three searchers, si A, B, and C, ang gagawin nila is to proceed slowly at the same pace. So sasabay sila. And then, along paths which are parallel or kapareho sila ng sinimulan. Yan. And then, once they discovered something, the search must stop. Sabi natin si person A may na-discover. So, magsa-stop yung kasama niyang dalawa. So, of course, yung photographers, yung measurers, susunod na yan. And then, the searchers would then proceed to the next side. The same goes ni person B at ni person C na parang gagawa sila ng parang snake pattern, just like this, hanggang matapos. Okay? So the searchers turn and proceed along new lanes as shown sa taas. Yan. Okay? The next is double strip method. Yan, kung saan inuulit lang yung double ay yung strip kanina, dinodoble or what we call the grid method. Is a modification yung unang example. So the rectangle is traversed first parallel to the base then parallel to the side. So for example, parang ganito. Uuna sila dyan and then gagawan sila ng bago. Kumbaga gagawa sila ng grid. Yan. So for example, ganyan. Ito yung crime scene. They will start searching here. Sabihin natin, dyan sila mauuna. Ang unang ginawa, sabihin natin, strip. And then, susunod na gawin nila is on the other side. Ayan. Pasensya na sa drawing, pero yung ana dyan na. Murag mo buhat sila grid pattern. Okay? Next is spiral or katong murag katol, spiral method. Yan. In this method, the three searchers follow each other along the pathway spiral, beginning on the outside, then going inside, spiraling papunta sa sentro ng crime scene. Next is zone method, of course, or also known as the quadrant method. Yan. Zone method or quadrant method. So, those searchers would be divided into quadrants or four areas. Yan, parang ganyan. And then each one would have their own unique um, steps or types of search. Sabihin natin dito spiral si first searcher. Sunod sa second, strip. Yan. Sunod dito, grid. Yan. Sabihin natin grid yan. Or dito sa isa si wheel method. Yan. Or spoke method. So, iba-iba sila per quadrant. The next one is wheel method. Kung saan para siyang spokes ng sasakyan or yung wheels ng sasakyan. Sa wheel method, the area is considered circular, ang crime scene, and they would gather in the center, tapos papalabas ang opening. Yan. Papalabas sila ng search. Yan. Okay? So, yan yung wheel method. Yan. Ang tawag niyong bawat area ng mga searchers, we call those the radii or spokes. The radii. Yan. So, the procedure should be repeated several times depending sa kadakon or sa buong area ng crime scene. Yan. And also the number of searchers. Okay? So, if you have any questions, again, nasa forum natin, pwede kayo magbigay ng questions doon. So, I would end my discussion here. Next recording ko, we would go on and proceed sa crime scene investigative procedures. Yan. Ulitin natin yung crime scene investigative procedures, then down to crime scene documentation and crime scene reconstruction. Okay? So, that's all for today. Have a great day sa inyo and God bless sa ating lahat.